Alright guys, so welcome to a very special edition of the Sold Out podcast. We're going to be cooking some food entirely by myself. I'm a very accomplished chef, as we all know. So right here we've got two sweet potatoes and a chili. And if we continue on, I think we have some chicken. I'm running out of wrong things to call these, but all I know is that this will come in useful at some stage. So I think if we start with the milk, I think that's the way to go.
Gotta do it with my pants.
I can't hear you.
I said you're on the Sold Out podcast. What's up?
Oh, pass. That's good. I was just wondering if you're in town.
No, I'm on a podcast. Where's the kettle be done? You gotta ask me something.
No,
It's like, we're gonna get the awkward beer.
yeah, I'm just gonna awkwardly lay here, just like.
Just like uncomfortably close.
This is what it is.
Is this vegan?
No. What's that?
Mix that shit up.
Who's the GOAT web designer?
The go web designer. Man, I got Kendrick on one wall, and then fucking Bill Gates on another wall.
Top 5 web designers.
There's top 5 web designers. Oh, there's Shisha from Japan, man. That dude and Jay Wiz, he's fucking he's a wizard. You ever masturbated in public?
So we'll ask you the inevitable. What was the last thing you watched on Netflix? What are you into?
I'm watching Luther at the moment. It's fucking sick. Have you guys ever watched it?
No.
Oh,
it's
watch
Idris Elba, isn't it?
Yeah, Idris Elba. Watch Luther. Basically, it's like if Sherlock Holmes was R-rated. It's so good. It's just amazing.
Have you watched that Sherlock series at the BBC?
Oh yeah.
With
sick.
what's his name?
Benedict
Cumberbatch.
Yeah. No, it's really good. It's really like that. It's made by the same people. It's just great.
I probably would like that actually.
And he's really fucking good. It's slightly more realistic, but
Yeah.
No, it's really good. There's some cool stuff in it.
Cause I'm still obsessed with Top Gear. I wish I could do like a good Action Bronson impression or something. This is a real like.
What's his name? Matty Madison.
Yeah.
I fucking love that guy.
That's what we need right now. We need like.
I had a mustache that I'd grown for today to be like Matty Madison. And I woke up and I was like, it's actually too much.
Oh, that was a nice shot there, I have to say. Get them beans.
I told you I'd fuck this up somehow.
Just lift them gently. Get out of my fucking way. Get out of my fucking way.
Get out of my lane.
I'm getting the slow-mo.
The slow. I don't think I've ever eaten an egg before.
What? Is this a chili? Is that what it is?
It is a Mediterranean chili.
Oh,
That is fascinating.
I'm doing some bougie shit.
Wait. The man is grinding.
I fucking hate it.
I think we're safe.
Cooking up. Shut the fuck down.
God damn it. I'm a photographer now, bro.
Shut the fuck down.
Thank you.
Let's have a full video of Shane eating it.
Dude's never eaten a fucking egg. Sit the fuck down.
You're like,
Look at this food for you to be like, oh, look at the camera. Fuck you.
yeah, I mean, welcome to the Sold Out podcast. We got a pretty fucking bougie setup here, thanks to Mr. Silent Ghost, man of the hour.
Pretty lit.
And we got Bobby Basil, the OG. Good to catch up with you again, man.
Mr. Isaac Nelson
Mr. Isaac.
in the head.
Yeah, how are you boys getting on? How are things?
Good.
How's your mom? How's your dad?
Yeah. How's your mom? How's your dad? You've spoken to her lately? When was the last time you rang your mom? She misses you, you know?
Yeah.
No, really good. We're working on a few bits. We've been working on a track for a while now. We just needed to get it sent off to be mixed by Mr. Adam
Sick. Shanahan.
Shanahan. Sorry, shout out. We just need to send it off to be mixed by him, and then on to the next stuff, isn't it?
Yeah, pretty much.
Bigger things.
Bigger and better things. No, it's a funky song, and I think we're going to go into just kind of do some more experimental shit, hopefully.
Yeah.
That's the plan with you, anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, talk about you.
Talk about me. I'll talk
'cause
about me.
I'm
all
actually,
fucking day.
I'm hyped to get into this though, because your music sounds like not much else.
Thanks.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I want to know about like, where did you always have this sound, or like where does the inspiration kind of come from?
So I started. It was all rock music. So basically, when I was a kid, I remember my dad. He had a band room up here when I was living here in my mum's gaff.
Yeah.
He had a band room upstairs, and
Does he play?
Yeah, he plays piano. He's in a band, right? They're called Midlife Crisis.
Okay.
And they're all 50. By the way, they played a gig this Saturday. You still bought down, yeah. So I used to fall asleep to him playing like Coldplay and U2 and blah, 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 blah. So that was kind of always beaten into me, but I could not play for shit.
Yeah.
And I hated it. Like my mom used to throw me into piano lessons. I fucking hated it. And then when I turned 16, I was like, oh man, this can get you laid. So I learned guitar and I just loved it. And then so I was all rock and blues and blah, blah, blah. And then I made my first EP with Y-Axis for a shout out of the day. And
Who's that?
Yeah, I don't know, man. I think he's mates with Vinci.
Okay.
So he produced my first EP. We did it up in about 3 days up in his gaff. And then I was just like, fuck this, I don't want to be annoying him. So I just learned to produce. And then when I got into that and I started learning more instruments and I just went down a rabbit hole. I was always really into weird music. Like I'm always listening to, I love like classical music, film scores, and like lo-fi, ambient, electronic, all that shit. Yeah. So I was just listening to so much shit that I was just kind of like, I want to bring it all together. Yeah. So I spent about a year and a half just learning to produce, and I completely let go of all my rock and blues roots and just focused on production and what I could do with a laptop. And then from that, now it's kind of getting back in and bringing it all together. So I think after this EP, it's definitely going to be a lot more kind of heavier with a lot of like electronic and experimental elements. But
sick.
Yeah, it's mainly just from the wide, like eclectic stuff I listen.
Because even as it stands at the moment, like tracks like On the Road sounds like it has like a mad like country influence.
Yeah,
and stuff,
yeah,
you know
yeah.
what I mean? So it's like, and even like track by track, they just sound completely different. It's almost like just genre bending. Like
I really wanted to do that. It was always just I always loved so much different types of music that I just wanted to see what I could make. So at the start, like it was very rock and blues, and then even like on that EP, Midnight in Paris is super experimental, and I just wanted to, I didn't really want to do the whole genre thing. So I was just like, I want to see, at the moment it was very much like no one fucking cares who I am and no one listens to me, so I can kind of make what I want and just try it out. And now it's kind of getting, it's just refining it down and bringing in all the elements, you know what I mean?
Into one.
Yeah.
And like, where did you get into like hip hop along the way?
Hip hop, I always really liked hip hop, mainly because I never thought I'd be making it. Initially, so I really liked it because I find when I'm listening to other stuff, I'm like really listening to it. You know what I mean? Like it's like I'm trying
got that like production ear. Like,
I was trying to like figure out like I'm like, oh, what's that guitar solo? Is it like in the mix? Like what's the scale and all this shit? I was listening to it too much, and then started listening to hip hop when me, Sean, and Tally all became mates. And
so how did you meet Y-Axis?
All right, so here's the funny story.
I've been told to ask this.
I've been told that it is a funny story, and it's not like he's going to talk about me on your podcast. So basically, we were. I met him ages ago at a party, and like I knew him. He just came up. He's like, "How are you? I'm Sean." Blah blah blah. You know. And then about 2 years later, like we didn't even talk.
Y-Axis recording artist.
Y-Axis, yeah. This is before he was Y-Axis.
Yeah.
And I spent most of that party trying to run away from a Russian girl who ended up peeing on me later.
Nice.
And sleeping on
it's
a
like
beach.
A super bad scene.
It was a really weird party. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, she ended up pissing on me. It was real weird. It wasn't on purpose.
Did you ask her to piss?
Yeah. I was like, rain it down on me, baby. No, it was. She got
seen an American
She got
Pie.
really drunk, and I had to carry her to her car. And during that time, she was peeing on me. So anyway, I didn't get stuck. Sean,
You have to caption this. Silent Ghost
that
talks about a girl.
Yeah. Talks about girls peeing on him.
You actually do, honestly.
I'm giving you all the clickbait time.
You have to.
Yeah.
So anyway, we were done. This is all right. So about 2 years later, we were both. I had a job working down at the fucking Caspalooza, and that's how I got really into sound production, because I was helping out. I was like the assistant for the stage manager for the main stage. So they were like, I had to do. It was great now, like, but it really got me in there. And so we were on the bus down, and then Sean was volunteering down there, and he ended up doing like artist liaison or some shit. But I remember seeing him on the bus, and I was like, oh, I know that guy from somewhere. And I was like, hey, do you know, like, did I meet you at this party? And he was like, oh, yeah, like, cool, man, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, oh, sweet, like, so, like, what are you doing down there? Like, where are you staying? He was like, yeah, bro, so, like, yeah, I don't have a tent. I was like, what? He was like, yeah, like, I was coming down with a mate of mine, and then he said I could crash with him, but then he was like, oh, no, my girlfriend's coming. So he was like, yeah, I don't know what I'm doing. I was like, do you want to crash with me? And he was like, sure. So basically, we just spent, like, Caspalooza. He went down without a tent, and he was just living with me for, like, 3 days.
Just take him in, like.
Yeah. And then I met Tally about a week later, because Sean was telling me all about Tally. He was like, oh man, you love this guy. Yeah, shout out Vinci. He was like, you love this guy, you gotta meet him, blah, blah, blah. And he was like working in All Saints. So I was walking through town and I was like, oh, let's pop in. And I need to get a jacket or some shit. And
That's so funny. We probably would have met in All Saints, like, because the amount of times I went into Tally in there too.
Yeah. And I went into him and I was like, oh man, you're Tally. And he goes, Sean. Or no, he's like, no, it wasn't Sean. He said something like, he was like, Jack. And I was like, Michael. And he was like, that's the one. And then me and Tally became really good mates, because about a week later, we were going to Hangar, RIP Hangar.
Yes.
Fuck the house, you know, fucking fuck hotels, bring back Hangar. And I met him, I saw him in the line, and with Kane. And same fucking story. I was like, where are you guys staying? Because they live up in Sumullen. And he was like, yeah, we're just going to sleep in a stairwell. I was like, fucking crash of mine. It seems to be a recurring theme. I'm surprised I didn't meet you. And you were there like, yeah, bro, like, don't know where I'm staying. Like, listen.
You just catch people when they're at their lowest point.
At the lowest point. Like, they're going to be sleeping in the streets.
Come in.
So then we started the XO crew, which lasted about a week. Just long enough for us all to get tattoos.
That's so funny. Where did you get the tat?
We got so Sean has his on here. I got mine on my ankle.
Get a zoom.
Oh, do we have a zoom?
I got mine.
That's gonna be a tricky one.
Yeah,
I'll get a B-roll shot.
Yeah.
I got mine on my ankle. And then Tally has his on his wrist.
Well, it was XO supposed to be like the original Good Buzz sort of.
It was gonna be something like that. Yeah, it was called the XO. Well, the XO crew started was just the three of us, and then we went on to develop something called Empire, which didn't get a lot of traction, mainly because all of us were little bollockses, and we're like, oh, we can be fucking huge. We weren't doing anything. So then that all died. We all went off, did our own thing, and then they started the Good Buzz, and then I just started my own thing. Yeah.
So like going back to you with like the production and stuff, like did you, because like we were talking before, like you didn't go to like college or anything, did you just like sort of teach yourself, or like?
Yeah, it was just a necessity. So I literally just set up I think I cracked Logic Pro, and then just got into it that way. Beep. No, like I don't use it. I never released anything off it. Then I ended up buying Cubase a few months after that. But it was just that need to do it, and I loved the like the technical side of everything. Yeah. Because I don't have that like creative ear where I can like hear, you know, it's like, oh, this sounds pretty. I'm like, I need to know like the maths behind it. Okay. So I loved like I just watch hours of music theory, and like all the guys on YouTube teach me how to do it, and I just like try to absorb it all.
Yeah, that's pretty sick. And then obviously like being from like a sort of musical family by the sounds of things as well probably helped and stuff. Like did you no
it's just my dad's a musician, and he doesn't like my music, so
that's gas.
Yeah, he loves my.
Does he not? What's he say?
He's just like he's like oh, you should stop singing.
Really? What's he tell you to do?
He's like, go to college. He loves my other. The only other musician in my family is my cousin Oscar Blue. He's doing so fucking well. And he's the little jammy bollocks. Like he released one song, got on like this playlist, and now it's like 10 million views or some shit. Like putting bigger numbers than Kojak. And my dad's like, yeah, you should like, you know, like let him do his thing. I'm like, oh fuck yourself. Yeah. But he's Oscar Blue's great. Like
shout out Oscar Blue.
Shout out Oscar Blue. It's gonna go through this. Yo, shout out Isaac Nelson.
Yeah.
My G. So yeah.
Yeah. No, that's pretty sick. I mean, like as well. So, like, how long have you been like sort of into music? Just like since you were a kid, like?
Yeah, always since I was a kid. I mean, when I was kind of like 12, I was being a real bratty teenager. Yeah. So I was like, I fucking hate everything.
So is that where you learn piano and shit? Or?
No. That was just me being like, I hate everything. I didn't start playing music till I was 16.
Okay.
So I picked up a guitar at 16, and then I had that like. There was a couple of guys in my ear who played guitar, and I was like, I have to be the best. So I went a bit crazy. I spent about like. For all the transition year, I spent about 6 hours every night just plugging away a guitar. Like my hands were bleeding and everything because I just needed to get better. I needed to catch up with these guys, and lo and behold, I'm better than all of them.
Who?
Exactly.
Better than who?
Exactly. The guys from my school.
Yeah. Obviously, though, we wanted to dig into this upcoming project that you have.
Okay.
So I was listening to. I have I don't know if I have the full thing. Do I?
Yeah, well, there's
I
meant
think
to
I
be
have 3 tracks.
Yeah, that's basically the full thing. There's meant to be some more stuff, but I'm waiting to get back from it
Yeah.
because that's relying on the people. So.
Yeah. So do you want to I suppose talk us through? I suppose even if we start actually with your first EP, what was your thought process going into that and stuff?
Diary was basically I had when I was from 16 to kind of I think I recorded that at like 19, so it was like 3 years. I played a few gigs and it was just writing loads and loads of stuff, and then like the first song I ever wrote was On the Road.
Okay.
And it was kind of like it was that moment, like there was like that light bulb switch where I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna go for this. So but also I didn't want to kind of leave behind what I had done, so I just kind of picked the best few songs that I really liked, and I still play them today. And I just really enjoy them, and then just kind of got rid of the rest, and then started taking it seriously. So that was kind of it. So it wasn't made as a concept for the EP or as a body of work. It was literally just 3 years of a few tracks, and just kind of like an entrance to it all, you know.
Yeah. Because one thing I wanted to get into a bit. This could be like a wrong observation, but just even in terms of
the sweet potatoes. Thanks, man.
You as an individual, you have a very particular style and aesthetic. So does any of that play how important sort of is expression to you, sort of?
Incredibly, visually, big time. This is the only way,
because that's kind of what strikes me about you. It's just and going back to the genre stuff as well. It's just so probably what you feel in the moment or something. Yeah?
Very much so. A lot of the stuff I'm making is because a result of what I've been listening to.
Yeah.
If you're around me for a long period of time and I release a song, you can be like, oh, it's because of these 6 songs you've been listening to on repeat. No, style's really important to me. I feel took me a long time to kind of get the aesthetic I wanted, and I kind of get my head around it. So, and then even in terms of music, I just didn't want to limit myself in what I could do. So when I had Isaac hit me up asking me if I'd make the track Up for him, I dabbled in some hip hop messing around, but that was my first I'm gonna really go for this. And then I have me and Connor Clinch did a song. It's super it's very kind of funk, soft rock, and then I have
Is that the new one coming out now?
That is coming out after this EP. Yeah, so I have my next EP ready to go. Which is going to come out later in August. Which is kind of going very back to my roots. And then I have a couple other me and Aoife are working on a load of stuff together. She's amazing. She's super weird. Her stuff is just so bizarre, but she's really, really great. And then I have some really super indie acoustic, just an acoustic guitar and a brush set. So it's kind of I just doing whatever. I tackling every genre, because every time I do a new genre, I learn something new.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't my fucking biggest fear is to be a type beat producer.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Fucking Lil Xan type beat, free beat, hit me up, blah, blah, blah. Shit's fire. And throw a tag in the middle of it.
So going into this new EP, obviously, because you're dropping. So if you have another one coming out after this, what's your thought process with this next EP, the Instil Me?
So the current one that I'm dropping out, that you've heard, Instil Me. So that all started from I just had this kind of piano melody. It was just these real open chords. It was very similar to Time by Hans Zimmer, and I just really liked the kind of emotion behind it, and then it was just super simplistic and it was really open. So what I kind of had, I was also listening to a lot of Sun Lux at the time, particularly in the lyrics. You can kind of hear a lot of inspiration from Dream State and just their use of percussion. Ian Chang is the best percussionist in the world. It was just a situation that I didn't want to just leave it as a single. I could have made the Instil Me single and been all right, that's it. But I also kind of wanted to, I don't know,
explore it more.
Yeah, so it was also, I want to experiment more. I felt like the song wasn't done, and then I also wanted to do I also wanted to kind of prove what I could do as a producer.
Yeah.
So I wanted to take the song and flip it a bunch of ways and be I can take this, this single piano idea and make different versions of it that hit different people. So that was the idea, where essentially the EP is the same song but just re-instrumented different ways and trying to evoke different emotions and do it different ways.
Yeah. So what was where did the lyrics come from with Instil Me? Because obviously it like carries like
A lot of weight.
Yeah.
So the lyrics are basically from a situation that I was in. It's gonna be fucking dark. Just gonna do a little whip to make it feel better. Do a little
dab one time.
Yeah. Yo, shout out Migos. Yo, free Palestine. So the lyrics basically came from this. I was in a really weird mental state where I was just this kind of melancholy.
Yeah.
And I was with someone who I was there for them and I wanted to be there for them, and it was just like I just had this like emotional barrier between actually, like, even though I was physically present, I was ticking all the boxes, there was this emotional barrier that was just preventing me from actually like feeling the way I should.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I don't know if you guys ever get that. It's called depression. So it was just quite tough, and it was just this kind of like it was just this kind of plea. And funny enough, she was in the room when I wrote it. And I think it was a turning point for both of us. I feel like a lot of time the music and a lot of stuff, I don't really do emotions. I just like most times. So a lot of times when I write about stuff, it's only after when I look back at the lyrics, I was like, oh, fuck, this was killing me. You know what I mean? I was like, man, I was really annoyed at this person. So it's just kind of a turning point for us where it just kind of broke down that like barrier of like, it was like, I want to be there. It's just about getting back to there. You know what I mean? That was. So like, are you more or less sort of like channeling when you're writing, or are you kind of? Yeah, it's a weird process.
Because obviously, like, everyone has like a different process. Like when we talk to people, like some people might say like, don't write when you're feeling that emotion because it's like too like in your face. Like you know that thing of like you can't like see an elephant if you're like right beside it. Obviously, you have to like stand back a bit. Yeah. Or do you like what way would you? I
think it depends. I mean, I've never been in a situation where like I've like ran home and written a load of poetry. You know what I mean? Like it's not like I was like, oh, I can't wait to write about this. You've hurt me so much. Like I'm gonna make an EP. Yeah. It's never a situation like that. It's more like. It's kind of a stream of consciousness for me. It's just kind of like I'm listening. Now what I do is I try to invoke them. I try to invoke the emotion from the music. So I produce everything first. So what I'd sooner do is say if something does happen, I'd go home and I'd write a piano melody or a guitar or something, and I try to invoke the emotion through the music alone, and then from that come back to it and write on top of it. So I like that's why I study a lot of like film scoring and stuff is to try and capture these complex emotions and see if when I'm listening to it without the lyrics, if you strip away everything, can you listen to that and feel that? You know what I mean? And then the lyrics are more like just this kind of sprinkle on top to kind of kind of like enforce it. I think for me anyway, I always found that a lot of music, the problem with it is that it can be too directed, where these people either they write really vague shit and it comes off as really conceited,
really phoned in,
or like this really like narrow, like this is what happened. I fell in love with this person,
and then it's not as relatable because
it's not as relatable. And like, but then the one benefit of those stuff is that when it does hit, and like like it hits you hard. You know what I mean? But if it doesn't, it's kind of like, oh, it's a good song. Whereas I wanted to have it like where it was more me telling the story, and the music would kind of back it up. That this is how I feel. The music will make you feel that, regardless of whether you relate to the lyrics or not. You know, this is where I'm at, and hopefully the music will take you there.
Yeah. Getting beamed down by the sun all of a sudden, like, it's nice.
Do you want some sunglasses? I'm gonna take a look at Sweet Potato. Yeah. Because I know you didn't.
I did. It's grand.
Yeah. Can me and Bobby just freestyle for a bit?
Yeah. You guys spit some bars.
Can we just like relax? Yeah. What's the last thing you watched on Netflix?
Why am I gonna have a heart?
I don't know. I don't really. I actually don't watch Netflix.
Really? Are you still on your reading buzz from? Yeah. Because obviously you're still.
That's what book I'm reading.
Yeah.
It's called the seven effective habit or 7 habits of effective people.
Yeah. Oh, I've heard of that one actually.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah. Sorry.
But the last thing I watched on Netflix though, let me try and remember.
I just wanted to like.
There's definitely something I last watched.
Yeah. It's really annoying though because I knew that book, but I just like right now I can't think of anything about it. If you know what I mean? Because I was gonna follow up about it because it sounds interesting.
It kind of, like what it goes into at the moment is like character ethics to personality ethics.
Yeah,
And that's an interesting concept.
yeah. Because have you read like 48 Laws of Power?
Yeah.
Yeah, because like so I follow a Twitter account that just retweets them every now and again just to like remind you sort of like about the chapters, and like some of that, like even like you just said there, like the reputation one is like really important because if you think about it, once it's like destroyed, you can't really ever repair it, if you know what I mean.
It's definitely very difficult, yeah.
Yeah.
Depends how big your following is as well though.
Yeah.
You can get away with a lot if you don't have many people watching.
Even like though as a person though, and like you know stuff like relationships or something that could like offer an opportunity or something, it's like it's kind of scary when you start thinking about like how fragile your reputation is to other people, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, absolutely. But that's a lot of that is personality ethics, like the stuff that would be in that book. So it doesn't really go off sort of like there's not much honesty in it. It's quite deceiving. It's quite manipulative, like Machiavellian.
Yeah.
And I guess you have to just like pick your battles, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Sometimes if you're not happy, sometimes like it can be good to just small, especially if it's just a one-on split encounter, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But things you do, it applies to, I look at it applying to business more so than like, you wouldn't want to be pulling any of them tricks with your family or your friends, you know what I mean? It's just it's a bit shady, like.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So anyway, fuck Silent Coast.
Yeah, I feel like it's the outdoors is like inspiring this like mad deep conversation.
Yeah. I feel like
something.
it's I feel like we should have a little campfire.
I know, yeah. This is cozy, like. Actually, if I could follow up for a minute because obviously last time you came on, I was like, obviously the
Mine's like, isn't it?
sorry, because the EP like hadn't even come out yet, or the album. Sorry,
yeah, the album hadn't came out yet.
Yeah, like so it's pretty crazy. Like how would like everything going since then? Because like I don't know what you can talk about. Obviously, we've been
met some new people from it. You know, got talking to some cool people, and you know, just like different people sort of have different people listen to the music now. From what it was, if you know what I mean. So
yeah, that's interesting.
Which is good. Yeah, it's nicer.
Yeah.
So
because it kind of was like we were talking about it at the time, but like it kind of not a big departure, but like it was definitely more like I told you that would happen as well. I'm scared of bees. Yeah, like it was a big, you know, from your previous stuff in a way, it was like a lot more introspective and stuff, and I think for a lot of people it might be like more accessible or something maybe.
Yeah, I don't know. My music's always been introspective, to be honest. I don't know. Maybe if it was almost a bit less introspective.
Yeah.
Like the music I've been making, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know really.
Yeah.
I feel like you're going through like a rebirth at the moment.
Yeah.
And it's really instant. It's really great. It's really instant to watch. But I feel like there's like it's like you're getting into like the next chapter of like what is Isaac Nelson. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No.
100%.
Something's a brewing, you know.
Yes.
Yeah, you just have to take it day by day. You can't really try to expect too much or anything, you know, or I don't know, just put the work in, I guess.
Yeah. Because you've been consistent with it for years now, really. So
yeah, pretty kind of consistent. Not like with Deja Vu, we only released two videos. It's not consistent at all.
Yeah.
With
this new one,
the last year I have been 2 years.
You working on one more video from the album?
I am indeed. Yeah,
Yes.
it's already made. So
Okay.
Yeah.
Can you say which song? Not yet.
Nah, fuck it.
No, it's all good.
I'll tell you.
Yeah. Obviously, yeah.
Hey Jamie, can you pull that up?
Yeah. Can you pull up? Yeah. I mean, yeah. It's interesting having you two here. When did you two meet?
We met actually a couple times. We met I think it was one of Sean's gigs. We met in Ground Social.
Years ago, yeah.
Yeah, we met in Ground Social, and then we met on a bus, and we met on a bus and we were just chatting at the back of the bus. I think I was more talking at you.
Yeah, you were, yeah.
Yeah, I think I had that look of like, who the fuck is this guy? Like, get him away from me, like. And then it was after I released Beatrice Beloved.
Yeah.
About 6 or 7 months ago. He just hit me up and
it was an interesting beat.
thank you. Yeah, he just hit me up and he was there like, who made this? And I was like, me. And he was like, want to make me something? I was like, it was real funny because I remember when you were first coming out of the studio, like, all I'd ever met was like Bobby Basil, you know what I mean? Like, I thought he was gonna come up and be like, yo, what's up, bro? You know? And he came up and was just fucking like, it was so great to work with you. It's been like so great. It's just been like so chilled. And like Bobby comes up, he's like, has a cup of tea, and we're just chatting, like having a big laugh, like, you know.
Doing push-ups.
Doing fucking. Oh, so basically, right, we're making a song called Up, and we just couldn't like get the delivery, like it was good, but like it just had to sit in.
Trying to get it right.
Sweeter, yeah. And I remember like we weren't doing auto-tune or anything, and the beat is like pretty open, so it's like you gotta like nail that, you know what I mean? And like everything was on beat, delivery was nice, but it wasn't
Well, the feeling, there's no feeling.
Yeah, it just wasn't sitting the right way. And then you just hit the floor and just started doing push-ups, like just like raking them out. He was like, go, hit the beat, hit record. So I like push record and all you hear is like the click, and he just jumps up on his headphones like, hey, and just screams it. And it was like,
I'm like trying to hold my breath while rapping.
Oh, it was flawless. And when you hear it, like it's like the work. It was really cool because it was like the personification of the work that it took to actually get the thing. And it sounds so hard. And it's funny because I've had like a couple people up in the studio who like don't fuck with rap at all. And I'd show them that track and they're like, that's what Irish people need to be making more. You know what I mean? Like
that's one thing I was gonna say, just from like the minute you started talking about delivery, I was like, I feel like that's the one thing that's missing from most artists, if you know what I mean.
I think it's
like that energy, like that level of.
There's a lot of like.
Yeah, cause sometimes you got like if you're in your head too much, like that's why I don't push ups. Like you get from your head into your body.
But I think it's also the hours. Like I think the problem with hip hop at the moment is that so many people are like, oh, I'm a rapper. You know what I mean? They buy a type beat, they jumped on that shit, or they make some shitty thing on FL Studios, and then they're like, I'm a rapper, and then they record it, don't mix it, throw it online, and they're like, I'm a rapper. Because I feel like they think it like it's so accessible now. I guess like they think it is anyway. Because you don't
blame people for like just trying to make.
No, definitely not. But I think the problem is that there's one thing of people going for it and trying it, and then there's like at the end of the day, I think. There's like some people who believe.
If you're trying to master it, it's a different ballgame.
That's what I mean. Like there's people who believe that rapping is easy because you don't have to sing, you don't need to play an instrument, you don't need to do all this stuff. You just have to write. And it's like, nah, like then you get when you do something so specifically, you have to like really arrow in on the nuances of what it is to be a good rapper. You know what I mean? You have to learn about the flow and the cadences and the delivery and what's right and what's wrong. You can't just like listen to a bunch of X and then be like, oh, I'm just gonna do it real loud. You know what I mean? That's why there's so many fucking Lil Peep type clowns. And just fucking none of them get it because they don't understand what made him. You know what I mean?
Yeah. You need to find your own lane too, which is like both 100%. Of you are fantastic for that in a way. You know, like. For just kind of following your own, like
I'm the weirdest rapper ever. Don't even rap.
I'm kind of like I allow myself to be influenced. You know what I mean? I take what's going on now and I just try flip it as best I can. You know what I mean? Myself.
But you very much like the amount of times you fucking told me that you just sat in a room and wrote for 3 hours. You know what I mean? Like you're willing to put in those hours to practice, and then that's why like when me, you, and Adam are up in the studio and I'm fucking doing some shitty guitar riff, you just start spitting bars. You know what I mean? Like you learned that, whereas like so many people aren't arse.
No, it's different. It's different.
Yeah, they'd be like afraid to like sort of.
Well, I was shocked at Isaac Nelson, like the album.
Yeah,
I remember like when I fucking first heard it, like I'd heard. G Train, and I had heard like the stuff you'd done with Deja Vu, and I was like, hey, this is like it's really good as far as rap goes. But like when I fucking heard Isaac Nelson, I was like, this shit hits like differently. You know what I mean?
And even like when I met you, like I think if I'm not mistaken, the only track from it was "Don't Know the Cost."
She don't know the cost.
So like even that was sort of interesting then to hear the full album like in its context afterwards, if you know what I mean.
No, it was really cool, and like the way you jump between genres, but you still like stuck to you. Like I was really impressed because I feel like there is like another thing where like a lot of guys hit one thing and they just go with it, just keep going with it. You know what I mean? They do the same thing. They're not willing to like push out the boundaries or try something else. And someone who is really, really good for that is Kojak.
Yeah,
he's constantly like trying to do something else, mixing it up, like blah blah blah, and like. When it hits, and when it doesn't. But like, he's definitely like fucking trying to do stuff. You know what I mean? And I feel like that's a trap that a lot of people fall into.
Yeah, and like visually too, which is like one of your strong suits. I feel like as well with the like with all the videos that came from Isaac Nelson.
It's important.
Yeah,
it's important to work with a team.
You got a good team as well.
Yeah, a good team.
Really, really good.
Yeah, it's all true. Like I suppose networking and stuff, or like not even networking in that way, but like sort of.
I think it's funny. I think I've had this conversation with a few people where think the idea of what networking is versus what it actually is very different. I think a lot of people think it's a bunch of people sitting in a room with 10K followers, and then they're I can work with you and like let's chat and be real formal. When actually, realistically, it's literally just. Oh, you love my mate.
Yeah,
you
it's
know
literally the opposite.
Have you met Shane? Like blah blah blah. Like it's literally just like making friends, but making the effort to make friends. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then if someone asks you to do something, like if you're
the word of mouth is like out there as well.
Yeah,
It's valuable though.
Yeah.
Oh, 100%.
You know, valuable. Like,
You have to add something to it, or else you're going to be one of those fucking socialite, quote unquote, artists who shoot fucking 35 and painted one time. And like, oh, I'm a fucking experimental artist. Like, you're just fucking, doing MD in the bathroom of a fucking gallery. Like, you know,
That sounds way too specific.
Fuck you, Kyle. I was like, go do something with your life. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's definitely not specific when you know the people.
I feel like
it was me.
I feel like one of the cool things about this scene as well is like there's like people kind of come up together in terms of like a videographer might like work with an artist or something, like, you know, we were talking about like Chris Cobbs and JLOL or something earlier, you know, it's they kind of both get their names out, but they're both
it's really cool. I
think, honing their craft at the same time. Yeah,
the one thing I've definitely realized, especially I've really, really good mates, because it's just a bunch of people that are like willing to build each other up.
Exactly.
I've seen some other groups where there's still like a bit of like, you know, oh, you want a hand with this? All right, it's 200 quid. Or like, you know, like it's like, you know, where it's like, we don't pass money around because there's no fucking point. And I just think it's really cool when you just have a bunch of people around you that like all want to grow together. You know, that like making music videos or making websites, just everyone helping each other out and making tracks and stuff. Because like in the end, I'd much rather be surrounded by a bunch of people that I'm really good mates with than like fucking step on a bunch of heads and then be there by myself. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
And also the problem with Dublin is so fucking small that if you say one wrong fucking thing, like, you know, it goes around. Like it was like that podcast the other day where they were talking about how, what was it, people die of festivals, but like, and other people still have fun. You know what I mean? It's like, Jesus
There's
Christ.
that one. Someone just died at some festival recently, wasn't it? It was, I don't know the name of it though.
Yeah.
It was recently enough.
But like that's the other problem. So like fucking step on one person's toe and then everyone's like, oh,
And then the worry is like they're like that word spreads and stuff. Like if, you know, whoever gets the story
bad
out
news
and stuff.
spreads
But
faster,
like, Speaking back to positive things, let's try and get back on track here.
This is what happens. This is what happens when you have me in the house. I'm like, fucking, I hate everything. And I'm
That
depressed.
resentment, like just coming out.
I have a list on my phone.
you have like a list under your bed if you're gonna kill.
Yeah,
I'm like
exactly.
Arya Stark. I'm just like naming people.
But yeah, I mean, like, so what's
Have
kind
you
of like,
meditated before?
No, man.
You should start meditating.
You've told me that before. My mom keeps wanting me to do yoga.
You should go to a 3-day silence retreat.
have you done
You
that?
think I couldn't talk for 3 days?
My cousin did though.
Yeah?
That's crazy.
Do you enjoy it?
I don't know if he enjoyed it, but
It still hasn't come back like
I feel like I could do that.
I couldn't do it.
I feel like I could do that.
I go crazy.
I don't know though. I feel like maybe the pressure would set in after a few hours.
Yeah.
if,
All right, positive vibes. Come on,
Yeah,
give me one.
I'm gonna actually start that 3-day silence now.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
you just carry on.
yeah.
Positive vibes. Don't ask me about lyrics. Or,
Don't ask any questions. What's kind of like, because one thing that I found really interesting, it was like an offhand comment you made probably at Free Gaff, where you were like, you wanted Silent Ghost to be like a band at some point.
Yeah, Silent Ghost was always meant to be a band.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty interesting.
The original plan for it was always to be a band, and it basically came out of like I need to create something, and then I've seen like a lot of my mates from bands, and I've been in bands before, and they just like, I feel like until you're at a certain level they don't work.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because unless like unless you have 4 people that are just as crazy as you, you know, they just don't work. Unless like, and then now you can see like Nilo has a band together and they work great. You know what I mean? Because they're at a standard. Like you were talking about getting a few people in, like, and when you're at like a certain level, they just work great because everyone's professional. They've gone through the ringer of like, do I not do this? So like, for me, Silent Ghost, down the line, I definitely want to bring on a drummer and kind of expand it. But I think I want to like do it now as a bit of a Hosier type thing, that it's Hosier, but when he goes there, there's 6 musicians on stage with him. You know, like do it that way.
Yeah, do like session musicians or whatever. Essentially, like.
Yeah, just have a really good team and have just really, you know, people
I feel like
listen to.
that's one thing with like the band sort of thing. I feel like it's interesting. It's almost better when you have like nearly individual artists coming together because they're still, as we said earlier, like they're building each other up, but
Yeah.
working towards a common goal. as
Yeah,
well.
exactly. And like if they're dipping into other projects and stuff like this,
Exactly.
it's
not a. It's but like at that level, sometimes it's not a big deal anymore. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
but I feel
yeah,
like
yeah.
when it's sometimes there's a little bit more.
people can't juggle when you're a kid. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like you're in secondary school and then you have a girlfriend and you have football practice on
Yeah.
Saturday. Like it doesn't work. And then like I don't know. Like also teenagers are pretty shitty to each other.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like until
Yeah.
you're about 18, you're kind of a shitty person, and then even a little bit after that.
Yeah.
So I think like when you get to a certain point, you meet proper musicians who are really into it.
Yeah,
So,
exactly.
Like, you know, then it's a lot easier.
Yeah, and you have to find the right fits obviously as well.
Exactly.
Tricky.
We go in and press this.
Yes, sick buzz.